大家好，这里是时代新观察。伊万卡出席了由总统举行的支持农场、牧场和食品供应新闻会，在稍后时间我们将做深入讨论。
As we work to safely reopen America, and it's happening very fast, much faster and with much better numbers than anybody would have thought. I want to begin by expressing our profound gratitude to everyone here today and the farmers and producers across the country who have kept our nation fed and nourished as we have battled the invisible enemy. It is an invisible enemy. It's tough, but we're going to win, and we're going to win very big. But we can never forget all of the people that have been left behind, that have died for some reason that should have never happened. Should have never happened. You know that. I know that. And the people that caused the problem, they know that too. It's too bad. You remind us once again that the American farmer is the backbone of our country, and they're really a great friend of mine, and I appreciate all the support, and I know they appreciate our support. We're glad to be joined by Secretary Sonny Perdue along with Ivanka, who has been working closely with Sonny to deliver this vital assistance for farmers and needy families. I'm also grateful to the president of the American Farm Bureau Federation, Zippy Duval. Thank you very much. Thank you, and thank you, Zippy, thank you. The president of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, Marty Smith. Marty, thank you, Marty. And several of our great agricultural producers. Nice to meet all of you. It's really good to meet you. Zippy, you doing okay?
Doing great.
You got my condolences, I hope, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Zippy was married to a great woman. And for purposes of the record, you still are, you always will be, right? She was a great person. Yeah, no, she was a great person. From day one, my administration has been determined to protect our nation's incredible farmers. We enacted historic tax cuts and helped family farms stay in the family. Distribution companies, I've gotten to meet some of them, which have also been hit very hard to purchase $3 billion of food and produce from the American farmer, which I just mentioned, and to deliver to the food banks and charities that serve needy families. Already we have allocated $1.2 billion to farmers, to families, funding through 198 contracts with distribution companies, many of which are small businesses adversely impacted also by this horrible plague. It's a plague. Here today are a few of the American farmers and ranchers who can tell us why this program has been so essential and successful. Scott Sink is a cattle producer whose business has been badly impacted by the virus. He says this initiative will provide a bridge to help them move forward. And we've been helping them in a lot of other ways, too, but this was a great help. And, Scott, please come forward. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. My name is Scott Sink. I'm a producer in Southwest Virginia, Blacksburg. We have a catering business, and we do farm to table, along with raising livestock, produce, and custom hay. We were able to benefit from the Paycheck Protection Program, and now this bridge will also help us get into the new growing season. Talking to farmers all across the country, you know, farming is something that's always unexpected. We deal with that. We have to pivot at any time. But with something like this that's impacted the supply chain, producers, as well as consumers, that's why having a program like this is very beneficial to all of us. So we thank y'all for your work.
Very much.
Good, wise financial decisions in the months and weeks and years ahead. And it's also there to let them know that this country is there supporting them, because this country relies on what these farmers and ranchers do every day. And so I want to personally thank President Trump, the administration, and all those who've worked hard to make sure that these farm families stay there, that they stay whole, and that the American people will never have to worry about running out of food. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm David Hickman with Dublin Farms in Horntown, Virginia. We are a fifth-generation operation, produce fresh market potatoes, redskins, yellows, whites. This program is going to help tremendously with the movement of potatoes this summer. For us, we have 6 distributors who are our current customers that are doing the food box program. So our potatoes will be in some of these food boxes. We've submitted bids for 5-pound bags to go directly to the food banks of yellow and white potatoes. So certainly going to impact the Virginia potato business.
So you have 5-pound bags. What other size bags do you have?
We have a packing operation. We pack 5-pound bags, 10-pound bags, 50-pound bags, and then 2,000-pound bags that go to other packers. But a lot of our business goes into the terminal markets also. That's dependent on restaurant business, so we're anxious to see our restaurants get back up. Certain sizes of potatoes are used primarily for food service, so it's important.
So is potato a big business in Virginia?
It's a big business in our area called the Eastern Shore.
And how does that area compare with Idaho?
Oh, we're very, very, very small compared to the Idaho production, but we fit a niche between Florida and North Carolina's spring production before.
Is it a very similar product, would you say, or is it different?
No, the Idaho potatoes are like the russet, long potato.
Right.
We grow red skin potatoes and round yellow potatoes
Could
like the
you grow
Yukon.
in Idaho?
We
type
do,
potato
but
here?
we fill a different market.
That's very good.
Our potatoes.
Just interesting to me, right?
Yeah,
What
our
do I know
potatoes.
about potatoes, right?
Yeah, our potatoes are shipped right from the field to the store.
No, it's great.
Where Idaho, they store them through the winter. And we also grow green beans for fresh market, which is largely dependent on restaurant business.
That's great.
Also grow corn,
you
soybeans
love that
for the
business,
culture.
right?
Been in it all my life, yes, sir. On my home farm, there's been potatoes planted there since 1887, which is sort of unusual in the country. All different parts of that field farm has been in potatoes.
It's a beautiful
sometimes.
business.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. I remember 4 years and several months ago, I won the election to be president of American Farm Bureau, and candidate Trump called me, and he says, I'm going to be a friend to the farmer. And Mr. President, I'm here to tell you today, thank you. You've lived up to those words that you made to me that day. I represent all farmers across the country. I also farm. My son and I'm third generation, my son's fourth generation. We run a 400-cow beef cattle operation, and we grow chickens for Pilgrim Pride, about 1.5 million chickens a year. And the farmers across America are very appreciative, Mr. President, of what you've done. You've stood behind us during the trade war. You stood behind us during all the difficulties we went through. And now with the pandemic, you stood behind us again. And you know, and you've made the comment, we're the only group that comes to the White House without our hand. We don't come with our hands out.
That's true.
We want that level playing field. We want that trade. We want to be able to make our money from the markets. But we appreciate, when we're going through difficult times, that you stand behind us. This pandemic's made us realize one thing. We live in the land of plenty. But there's a food chain that is just as important to us as our military is. We have to be able to feed our own people. We can't afford to be fed by other countries. That makes us a national security issue, and we know that you realize that. And I think the American people, unfortunately, have had to go to the store and see some empty shelves. And we all now realize how important that chain, that food chain is, and the farmer is that very first link. Without that support, we wouldn't be there to produce that food. Our farmers are still farming. Hashtag still farming. You'll get some great stories. We've touched over 50 million people with that hashtag, talking about what farmers are doing, still farming. But we want to thank you. We want to thank Secretary Perdue for his hard work, and his staff's done an excellent job putting this program together. And we want to thank Congress for thinking about agriculture too and delivering it to your desk for you to sign. So many thanks for helping the people that feed the American people.
I remember very clearly you calling me just a few weeks ago when you read about the effects of the pandemic on American agriculture. And once again, you directed me, Sonny, we're going to have to help our farmers. Bring me a program. What's it going to take? I want you to use all the available resources at your disposal, just as you've done before when China retaliated against our farmers there. I don't know how, Mr. President, but you instinctively know that American agriculture, farmers and ranchers have been the bedrock of our American economy since the founding of our nation, and still are. And we talked about the food supply chain. You know that instinctively, but I want to tell you, I've never in my lifetime seen another president recognize that value among the folks standing here, and they're representing farmers and ranchers all across the country. So we're very appreciative at USDA that we don't have to push the rock up the hill. Usually when it comes to President Trump, the rock's coming down the hill. I have to catch it. So we appreciate that very much, that we don't have to sell you on the value of agriculture. But the program that we're announcing today will be a benefit. The $16 million of direct payments to farmers of all sizes and all production there will be very helpful, a real lifeline. But certainly the program that Ivanka and I were privileged to go out last Friday to Coastal Produce that you see here is also a lifeline, not only to those specialty crop producers, both dairy producers and meat producers, but also to the families who need this food. You can see this is high quality food here that's being distributed all across the country to our food banks, and really a lifeline for them as well. So the food supply chain that begins with these producers representing farmers and ranchers all across the country, ending up in the families' tables that need this food, is a real noble profession. I'm honored to be a part of it, and I'm really particularly honored, President Trump, that you understand just in your heart how valuable.
Thank you, Secretary. This is an incredibly exciting day as this very large relief package is announced. And you can hear today, and you can hear through the course of the campaign in the last 3 years, the special place all of you have in the heart of this president. Farmers and ranchers feed America, and that's never been more true than we've all realized over the course of the last several months. In addition to the much-needed relief, the $16 billion that will go to farmers and ranchers to help support them through this difficult time. This Farmers to Family Food Box program is just an amazing initiative. As the Secretary mentioned, the President saw that there were those in need, those vulnerable, long lines at food banks trying to get food, and yet there was this unbelievable, beautiful American fresh produce that was going to waste. So thinking about that supply chain and ensuring with $3 billion that those who are vulnerable, that those who are in need get access to boxes like these, 20 to 25 pounds of meat, milk, all forms of dairy, and of course great fresh produce is incredibly virtuous. It's a great cycle. It helps the small distributors, it helps the small farmers who were prioritized in the bids, and of course it helps those in need. So we're very excited about this program. These boxes themselves will also be going to a mission here in D.C., along with several others that we have at the White House, and we hope that these boxes will play a big role in feeding those who need it across the country. So thank you, and thank you, Secretary, for the hard work of your team in standing up this program so rapidly. We think that it will be extraordinarily successful for our small farmers and of course those in need. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. You have provided unprecedented leadership to the United States and to the world throughout this crisis. And with that, you have shown so much concern and so much support for American agriculture. And on behalf of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association and the rest of agriculture, I want to say thank you. I'm Marty Smith, and I'm a rancher from Florida and serving this year as president of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. Your executive order a few weeks ago directed toward the packers. We're starting to see the impact of that. We're getting beef, pork back online and getting the products back on the shelf. You know, America's farmers and ranchers continue to work around the clock to feed the public, to feed all of our nation, feed a large part of the world. What you've done with that and what we're doing with this current program enables us to stay in business and continue to do that. Again, we thank you for that. We thank your administration. Working with Secretary Perdue has just been a great way for us to all move forward. But even more importantly than that, I want to thank you and your family. You know, with us, it's all about our families and our family operation. Your family is just as dedicated to this, and Ivanka, we thank you for the support you've shown to us. It's just, it's so meaningful, and together we get through this and we do beat this. And we keep the highest quality, safest, most sustainable protein sources on the plate of Americans all through this. And we thank you.
Thank you very much.
In Georgia in particular, the numbers are going down. So we're very confident that we're going to have a tremendous turnaround. And we had to turn it off artificially, and now we're turning it back on. And you're going to see some tremendous numbers. Thank you very much. I'm going over to